Okay, my own name is Esen Ndweso, and without much ado, we all know the essence of being here, and the only man who can do that without blinking, without stuttering, is the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor. So let's welcome the Chief Press Secretary for his remarks on this occasion.
A little under the weather, but I'm going to manage and get it done with. The Senior Special Assistant to the Governor, Media, Charge of Research and Documentation, the new PhD holder, and let's celebrate him for Dr. Ekerete, the Special Assistant to the Governor on Multimedia Services, all of that, live streaming, website, wonderful pictures that we see in collaboration with our dear sister Idara, Engineer Solomon Eyo. My wonderful brother, Omen Bassi, the Press Secretary to Our Excellency, you're welcome. The Press Secretary to Our Excellency, the First Lady, one of our own, Udoh, is in Lagos currently with Our Excellency, so she sought, and of course, that's the reason why she's not here. The longest serving, very hardworking, and overly more hardworking government. That's why I say he has become even more hardworking. This morning, the Tier Uroba Chancellor of Cooper brought his executive to visit me at home this morning and to pledge their support for the continuous, and he said by all means. So we are honored to have Udoh Morgan, the progenitor of what has become the social media in Akwa Ibom State. I think a form of reconciliation committee or mechanism that would bring or lower the political temperature, because at the end of the day, we are all one. Akwa Ibom State is a homogeneous society. The Ekerete man understands the Ibibio man, the Anang man understands the Ibibio man understands Anang, Obolo, Oron. All of us are one. So any attempt by certain political entities to create chasm of alienation or separation based on some preconceived political calculation, I mean, it's bound to fail. And a practical demonstration of that has been what His Excellency did earlier this week before he moved to, he traveled out to London. You are all witnessing I would call it manufactured concern, because the facts have been stated, so I'm not going to even dwell on that. But in my own considered opinion, I think it's a manufactured concern, because we're all one. We're one people, homogeneous, by culture, by orientation, values, ethos, you name it all, we're one. And so, but as the governor has always said, is a pastor and man of peace. So in the course of this week before he left, he jetted out to London, he invited the traditional rulers drawn from 31 local government. 29 attended, 2 took excuse, and they were properly excused because of health. Well, I'm not going to go into all that, because of some concerns. So, but 29 of them showed up, and the governor addressed them and sought to lower the very divisive rhetoric and incendiary approach that appeared to have taken over what would have been so easily resolved in a matter of possibly hours, if the first meeting the governor had extended to them had been honored. But at the end of the day, the Paramount rulers from Anang Land, Oro Nation, Obolo, apologized to the governor for not honoring the first invitation that was extended to them, which could have nipped the whole matter in the bud. And the governor did accept the apology, and they were asked to withdraw the case that is already in court so that other ways can be looked into. There is no problem that solution cannot be found if people are determined to find a way out. So the meeting ended in a very warm, convivial atmosphere, and like was reported, the governor was very firm and yet conciliatory. So that's again a manifestation of his promise to be a peacemaker, and so we hope that with what happened, and I think I want to believe that that is the situation, because I haven't seen so far any further incendiary unnecessary media warfare, whether it's top media or that. I think that was a very important act by the governor, a peacemaker that he is. What Akwa Ibom said, as we all know, is for all intents and purposes the destination of choice. Prominent Nigerians flocking here, and we want to also commend the leader, the Senate President, because as we speak, the retreat is ongoing as we speak in Ekerete, and that again has brought Akwa Ibom State as the center of the perfect destination for conferences, seminars, and retreats, and I believe as we speak also the Ministry of Interior may or might be winding down their own retreat as well. The Honorable Commissioner for, the Honorable Minister for Interior and his team have been in town, and I believe they're still in town. So Akwa Ibom State is arguably the destination of choice, and that should give us a lot of happiness and excitement. I mean, you look back 36 years ago, we were like a little boondoggle, a backwater state, but see where we are. And part of the great things that is happening in Akwa Ibom State, because of the visionary leadership of the immediate past governor, which is being continued by His Excellency Pastor Moana, Ibom Air has been everything there is in aviation industry. It's the most preferred airline. It is the most, and this is nothing but a fact, it's the best managed. And that's the reason why the airline has won all conceivable awards there is in the industry. And you will recall that in the dying months of the immediate past government, His Excellency then Governor Udoh Emmanuel CON told Akwa Ibom that very soon Ibom Air will begin the West African sub-region of flight. And well, this week that wonderful achievement was recorded, and so we should give Ibom Air all the high fives. So let's give. So that was the maiden flight. Of course, you guys may have seen the congratulatory message His Excellency Pastor Governor Omoina sent to them. He is very excited, he is very happy, he is very proud of them, and of course, that is just the beginning. Plans, I believe, for to extend the route to other West African countries. I'm sure it wouldn't be long before we begin to do flights to the tourism capital of West Africa, which is the Gambia, and I believe further down Central African region. So Ibom Air has lived to the dreams and the vision of the His Excellency, the immediate past governor, and thank God that His Excellency, the current governor, is determined to deepen and the success range of that wonderful airline. His Excellency had made a firm promise that he would continue to pay gratuities, and that every month some amount of money will be set aside to pay down whatever that is being owed in that very sensitive sector. Earlier this week, as I'm sure you guys you were the purveyors of the news, His Excellency again authorized the release of additional 1.6 billion naira to pay down the gratuities to retired primary school teachers, local government, and state employees, and that this has been very humongously well received by the people, and so it's another campaign promise made, campaign promise kept. The promise to construct a model primary school per 10 federal constituencies and eventually all the 31 local government areas councils is on track. I'm sure you guys were excited the way all of us were the other day when His Excellency took an impromptu inspection tour of the first of such model primary schools, the Christ the King School, right just a few minutes away from this place. I was amazed, and it reminded me of the kind of standards that I see in the United States of America, where the primary schools can be compared to colleges or universities here. Just like the governor had enthused on that day, that there is no child that would not want to go to school in an atmosphere such as what is going to be represented at the CKS, and that's going to be replicated across the state. So when the governor said educational advancement as part of the Arise agenda, you can see practical realization of that vision. And you can imagine that all of that, and Nigerians getting to see such modern, futuristic, smart primary school with teachers' quarters, and I looked at the principal's office, and it's like you are in a typical department or faculty of, it's incredible. And to imagine that being replicated across the state, I believe even other Nigerians will come and say, Governor Moeno, thumbs up. So that's another promise made, promise kept in just 4.5 months. So you can imagine what is going to happen in the next 3.5 to 4 years, and then another 4 years of Arise agenda being unfold and affecting positively the lives of our people. So it's going to be, we've been very blessed from one definitional leadership to the next, and that's why His Excellency, the immediate past governor, said he would do exceedingly well, if not even better than himself, and he meant it. When you can see a reflection of that, and so we feel excited and proud that this is happening in our state, and in just a mere 4 months after his inauguration. The same thing applies to Agric. The model farm project is on course. Earlier this week, I think it was on Monday, the governor met with all the 31 local government chairmen, and then they emphasized the need for them to donate the 50 hectares or more land for Agric project. And almost all of them said, yeah, Your Excellency, we are ready. So very soon, just as we've seen with the CKS, the model primary school, the same stuff is going to happen when the first of such model farms that is going to be modeled after those in Songhai Farm in Porto Novo, Benin Republic, would be unveiled or flagged off in Ziribom, and then other local government would follow suit shortly afterwards. So I think for those of us that have had the opportunity and the privilege of being the carriers of news of everything that the governor has done, we should be very proud that Akwa Ibom State is on the ascendance. We are moving forward. We are united. The ship of state is firm. The hand on the wheel is solid and on point. The gauge is rock solid. And so it can only get better. And it will get better. And so for those of us that have been blessed and opportune to be at the center, the front seat of this wonderful golden era bearing administration, we should feel excited and be happy and thank God for the wisdom that he gave to the immediate past governor to see in Pasomano what others did not see. And we're all better for it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I almost forgot one very important point, which, anyway, the retreat. You guys have followed it. Followed the report. It was engaging, it was open, it was frank, it was purpose-driven, and everyone that had the opportunity of attending that retreat came back refreshed, reinvigorated, and raring to go. And those who did not quite understand the mechanics of governance that His Excellency Pazo Moeno projects, I think they came back a lot more drawn to his style, a lot more, and so key projects that have emotional connectivity with the people were advanced, those that will be done in the short term to medium to long term. So all the commissioners that attended, ESCO members and all the stakeholders came back reinvigorated. And I think to add the last line that I used, we are all better. We are all better served with that kind of frank, open, engaging atmosphere of conviviality, of policy, cross-pollination of policy, thoughts and thrusts. And so we are ready. Akwa Ibom said is better for it, and we're ready to go. Wonderful moment it was. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. If you appreciate truly the effort the CPS has put in to ensure that all of those events were captured in this very short period of time, I think it deserves a better round of applause. So on that note, I quickly open the floor. If you have any question bordering on the issues and some of the events he has brought back to our minds, or others that obviously are within your knowledge, then you can do that now. Indicate, ask all the questions, then we'll take all of them at the same time. Okay, Chris has a question. Who else? All right, Kufre, Patience. Okay, Elizabeth. All right.
Good afternoon, CPS. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. My name is Chris Mufat. I work for Channels Television. I have just one question and then maybe one suggestion to make very briefly. I saw this release from you, sir, about the money that was released, the payment of retirees. Looking at everything here, we have a total of 4.6 billion naira so far released. But there is something that is missing, and I want to ask now. I don't want to make it private. For instance, for me in particular, I work for an organization that pays attention to details, and I've been asked how much is was the total backlog that the governor inherited Now, if we have to get that and then deduct this amount from that, so we know what is remaining to be paid. That's why we did not use that report, because I was waiting for that aspect to be included. That is it for that one. And then, because I may not speak today again, let me quickly bring this one. I want to suggest, because this arena is for the state government, you speak for the state governor, and I want to suggest that we bring in, once in a while, we bring in commissioners, maybe one at a time, to come and brief us here, because we don't have the opportunity. Sometimes when we call them, they don't pick our calls. So many things are going on, especially in special. You invite commissioners to come and brief us here. I know that they have information officers, but that job, what we want to do here is more than what the information officers do for them is limited. But if they come here, we'll be able to ask them the right questions, and then we have a larger perspective of what they are doing, so that we don't continue to be in the dark. They are doing a lot outside there. We need to know. The people outside there need to know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris Moffat. Okay, next.
Good afternoon, the CPS. And please let me step on the already established protocol for the want of time. My name is Kelvin Samuel, and I write for the NTA. The CPS, the last time we met, palliative distribution was at 18 local government areas. We would like to know if progress is being made, whether they have been able to conclude that. I think that's the question I have. And I have a suggestion also to add. A number of times when we see releases that are supposed to be from here, we find them on social medias. And where I work, for example, and most of us, if a release is authentic, there will be a signed copy, and we the news by ourselves, depending on the various media houses. And so, but when a situation where we see some of these releases on social media, of course, I cannot pick a report from social media and send to my Abuja office. They won't even take it, because it has to be the original and signed copy. It's either you give us a signed copy, or it's a situation like this where you speak is captured or recorded. So I am appealing that we should consider that. That will also help us to close some certain loopholes, because one day fraudsters might strike from such angles. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, CPS. Good afternoon, other members of Press Corps. My name is Awake Elizabeth from Federal Information. My question is on the model school. Just two questions. That's number one. Number one is on the model, and I'm asking how soon will it be? Because looking at the structure there is very encouraging. So many people want to have it. How soon are we expecting that? And again, before this time, there's another promise of the governor that is going to make one project per local government. Is that going to be the same thing, or is it going to run at the same time? Number two, I have a question outside what you've briefed us right now. It's about open grazing law that was passed. Grazing law that was passed. Please, I listened over the radio this morning. to you and all others around the state. So I wanted to ask, please, what is hindering or impeding the implementation and enforcement of that law that was passed? Thank you very much.
Afternoon.
First on the meeting with the traditional rulers. I'm surprised to hear that the meeting ended peacefully, because the feelers from outside is not like that. I don't know if any other person has heard it. Even as of yesterday, people were like saying that they were called to be insulted or something. So please, I think we should find a way. She has made a very strong point. Maybe the press here should have been briefed immediately so that they will know what to send out. So please, something should be done about surrounding that meeting to stop what is flying around outside.
Quite a lot of loaded questions, but I'm going to start from the last and I'll work my way up to the first. You are saying that the feelers out there was that they were called to be insulted. That is news to me, and I think it's news to a lot of, possibly majority of people seated here, because the Paramount rulers were treated so warmly, so nicely. The report was a reflection of what had happened in that place. I was there from start to finish. Not even a whimper of protest was raised by the Paramount rulers, even those that had apologized. The apology was not done under duress. It was not coerced from them. It was a voluntary action. And they apologized profusely. And it's not done. Let us not kid ourselves. A governor of a state cannot invite you for a meeting and you spurn the invitation. It's not done. I mean, this is the emotional, political, spiritual symbol of our state and our identity. And the Paramount rulers are the Honorable Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs regulate that institution. And the last time I checked, the Honorable Commissioner was appointed by the governor. And so, which means, as the governor said, on that day very firmly, without being disrespectful, that the traditional institution is funded by government. I'm sure in other parts of the nation, if Paramount rulers disrespected the office and the person of the governor when an invitation to Georgia instead of war was extended, that would be the end of such a Paramount ruler. It has happened before. History is, I'm not sure what they did actually amounted to frontal repudiation of an invitation by the governor. And he came. Governor extended a second invitation to them, and they came. So there was no, the feelers that you are getting may be feelers from the Mars, maybe not from Pluto, not from the planet Aquarium, but so I'm not aware of that. Because I've monitored the media for a living. I haven't seen any such report, unless there are some subterranean moves by certain entities in certain circles that I'm not privy to. Maybe they are meeting in the cloak of the night and sending feelers from hell. But if it's feelers from the reality that we know, I haven't seen it all. Okay. Now, Kufre, you said events like that, the press should be briefed immediately. Well, the moment I was there from start to finish, and the reason it was not, and it wasn't a meeting that was open to the press, but I was invited by His Excellency as his chief press report. And the moment I came out, a full story of what had happened was pushed out. It wasn't even up to 20 minutes. So I don't think holding a microphone at the foot of the governor's office and also reproducing and representing what had happened in written form, it's still the same. I mean, once a law is signed into, or a bill is signed into law, that cattle or cows trampling on farmland or cattle has been severely reduced. So if there are still a few instances here and there, I want to believe that the relevant, that is a key element of what we're going to be doing. I believe at least once or twice commissioners from a particular ministry, for instance, as the model farm is about to kick off, we would invite the Honorable Commissioner for Agri to come here and brief the press and relevant questions asked and all that. So that's going to be done. Model primary school, how soon? Well, if His Excellency has fulfilled the campaign promise, and the first one is almost done. I'm sure ahead of time, you can bet that once that is done, the others would. He has said it severally that the money to construct those model primary schools have been earmarked. They are there. It's in the bank. So it's just a question of they needed to have a model for assistant, chief press secretary, special advisor. My friend Angelali does same. There is no formal no, he sits down, he tells the press, and then puts out a statement the President Tinubu has, and then, so it's a matter of stylistics. I mean, but maybe once in a while we'll do that, but if you have any doubt as to the authenticity of, we're all here, it's in his eve, you can't reach me. So at any news that that carries that imprimatur, my office, my name, on behalf of His Excellency, at the directive of His Excellency, you can bet, can some crown somewhere. Yes, palliative. I think it has been hugely, humongously successful. But I have seen and I've heard, and His Excellency has even been part of protests from all other local governments that we've also sought to get fillers. It's been overwhelmingly, and you can't take that away. Thank you very much.
I forgot to mention that in the course of last week, His Excellency went on thank you visit to two senatorial districts, Ekerete and New Perspective. And again, that was awesome. Going to tell the people, thank you for your support, thank you for standing by me, thank you for believing in my capacity to make this step. And the people were overjoyed. And of course, I forgot also that somebody mentioned one project, one local government. Yes, that was also re-emphasized when the governor went to thank those two local governments and an earlier gone to them to appreciate it. Yes, that is ongoing. The one project, the local government is ongoing. And His Excellency has told you for it's an all-inclusive enterprise. It's not a question of, oh, this person will bring this, or so place. It's an organic movement where people, stakeholders, and the people around those communities, those government would say, look, these are the areas of a competitive advantage. We think the social industry should be cited here because it would provide, or it would work what amounts to the competitive advantage. So it's ongoing. And of course, too many things came up, but I mean, the critical, Emir of Kano was in Akwa Ibom said, and you guys were there, it just did not only celebrate Akwa Ibom said as being one, excuse me, Tulu guys, I'm a little under the weather, but it's okay. But it said what a wonderful state, and it said a lot of wonderful things. And then, I'm not going to go into other details of what it did, but very soon you'll see part of what brought him to Akwa Ibom said, and we will be all excited and proud. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, CPS. Once more, a round of applause. I think once again we've seen the essence of this bi-weekly press briefing. The CPS has been able to give us and make us have deeper insight into several government policies and actions and activities. The first line of charge in terms of disseminating, distilling information about the governor is the fact that we ourselves, we see the things, we see it firsthand, and we now report it to those who are, who we call them, the audience, the consumers. So it's important for us to even believe what we are seeing. If we don't believe, and that's in fact the primary essence of communication, you communicate within yourself first. Once you're able to convince yourself, you are now going to have the ability to convince others. So we now say that, oh, the press release by the press secretary, the CPS, it's on the social media, and so it's not able to, we're not going to report it. So that is, it might be the service to those who are looking forward to us to feed them with those information. And we are so blessed that the CPS is always up and doing. At every point in time, he's able to give us those releases timely. And like you said, his office is always open. He's a phone call away, and he's even on our own WhatsApp platform, the Government House Press WhatsApp platform. If you have any doubts about any information, simply bring it up there. If he's not immediately responsive to it, the CIO is there. All of us here are there. We can always confirm that those are authentic information. But the important thing is that the information from here get to our respective audiences so that we know that while you're here, the essence of our being here, are being actualized. Thank you so much for coming. I want to thank the CPS for doing a human job on that. And also do say that hopefully by next week, the next edition of this is the one for last week, last week Friday, and unfortunately we couldn't have it here because